emotionally connected to your plants? As if in the process of caring for them, they as well are caring for you? What about planty DIYs and thrifting for plant items? If I have your attention, then the Plants by Wade Lee podcast is for you. Join me, plant friends, as we dig deep and experience the magic of plants. Plant people, and welcome to the third season of the Plants by Wade Lee podcast. We have a special guest today, Ara from Propagation Diaries. I'm so excited to talk to you about your social and what you do as your business, but also you are the ambassador coordinator for the Southeast Plant Show, which I will be going to in June as well. So I'm excited to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
But welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. This is my first podcast.
Really?
Excited.
Awesome.
To the opportunity, and excited to meet you in person in June.
Yeah, likewise. I have been following you for a while, and let's just jump in it. And I'd love to find out where your social name, the handle, came from. Where did Propagation Diaries come from?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this in the questions that you had sent me, that I was like, how did you get into plants? And so it was almost like, because the first plants that I bought were as a birthday present to myself. I went out just feeling like, oh, I'm going to go buy some plants today. I've never done this before. So I went to nursery, and it was like 2016, 2017. And it was when succulents were like the craze. So I was super into seeing the videos of how you could propagate succulents from leaves and cuttings and do all the projects with them. So I started an account to just like take pictures of my succulent leaves, like propagating. And then so I was like, well, it's going to be like a little journal. So I named it Propagation Diaries. And I have changed so much since then, but the name has just stuck.
Yeah. And is that also the name of your business when you go to markets and sell?
Yeah, so I just do everything under the brand Propagation Diaries, and then I have several products like the trellises that are called the Arca trellises.
That's awesome.
So when I started my plant journey, I started actually live selling plants locally, but then I saw that there were so many people selling plants that I didn't want to get involved with that. I had a business idea to start making trellises, which was like a whole different story. So I decided kind of to just stick to accessories.
And what kind of accessories do you have available?
Yeah, so I focus on plant support, mostly trellises. I also have some clear poles, like moss pole alternatives. But my main product are the Arca trellises, which I started because of my love of Hoya. And back when I started 3 years ago, there just were not many trellis options on the market. So I found a way I was going to have a friend 3D print me some trellises, and she had just bought a laser cutting machine. And she was like, oh, why don't you try acrylic, because you have so many plants, so instead of like printing each trellis individually, you can just have them cut kind of in a bigger quantity through acrylic. So we started that. I like got home and put the trellises on my plants. It was like amazing. I'd never seen anything like it. And then I actually had a local market, maybe like it was like a week after. So I prepared a bunch to sell at that local market and kind of test if people would also like them. And I sold out like within like an hour, 2 hours. And so I was like, okay, well, I think this could be something. And I already kind of had like a social media presence. It's nothing like what I've grown it to now, but I was posting the trellises on there, and everyone was like, where can you get these? I've never seen this before. So it kind of just snowballed into a business.
That's so awesome. And people buy the trellises for, like you said, the Hoyas, pothos, anything on a smaller.
Yes, yeah. So my biggest size is 2 feet, so I definitely focus more on the houseplant size of support.
I see all these beautiful plants behind you. Is this part of your collection?
This is a small part of my collection. These are like my office plants. So I'd have kind of plants that have outgrown my collection at home. So these are some of them.
Awesome.
I'm one of those people that puts plants wherever I can find space. I have an office space, and of course, I chose it for these giant windows, so I know.
Yeah, it's perfect. Is Hoya still your favorite genus of plants?
Yes, for sure. Like them because of the blooms. They kind of like, to me, seemed a little bit more exciting instead of just growing lots of leaves. Like, if you did something right, you'd get flowers, and the flowers are just also different. And yeah, they were small, so I could get a lot of them, like, fit a lot of them on a shelf. And then something that I wasn't expecting is that Hoyas are super resilient, without kind of meaning to. Especially in these last 6 months where I have been very, let's say, physically challenged to be able to do normal activities like watering plants. My Hoyas have thrived, so I'm very
That's
glad
amazing.
that they surprised me in like surviving very tough conditions.
Yeah, you fell and received a fracture.
Yes, not one. It was like so many in my ankle. I'd never fallen before, and it was just such a stupid like 1 second, just like going down the steps a little bit too fast, and yeah, I broke my ankle. It was awful. It was like, help! I've fallen and I can't get up.
Yeah, especially when you're self-employed and this is your livelihood and business to
Yeah, I
fall
mean,
back.
I had an event scheduled, like I was hosting an event a few days later, and I was like, how am I gonna do this? What am I gonna do? But yeah, it was just one of those things that I had to like put myself first. I apologized to the vendors as much as they could, and luckily everyone was understanding. But I had to cancel it, and yeah, it was a very rough way to end the year.
Yeah, yeah. I as well have a small plant business.
Hmm.
And I have to say, like, I think the markets are the funnest part of being in business and being in the plant community.
Yeah,
I absolutely love going to markets.
yeah.
What is your experience of like working the markets as far as like the difference than online sales?
Yeah, I mean it's completely different. I've evolved my business into so many different ways. So I do like in-person markets. I do a lot of live sales on Palm Street. I have my website also where I sell my products that just go on and buy. But markets are just a great way to connect with the customers, to have them like put a face to the name. Even for me too, I have like lots of repeat customers, so it's fun to see them put a face to their names. And I'm like, oh yeah, you live in like whatever city, because I remember packing their orders. And so it's a nice way to just like create a personal connection with the customers. And I guess, I mean, I just do so many things. So I also organize markets, and that's like a whole other thing of it's a whole other side of me of passion to like give vendors a place to sell their products, give them a platform to have a business. I feel like a lot of local people have their first markets have been with me, so I'm kind of proud of that they started, that I got, or they gave them a place to start. And the events are always super fun. When you start selling plants, you start like, meeting the people, then it's encouraging that you learning that you can do it. And it's just fun to see how businesses kind of grow from their first market to where they end up.
Yeah, that's amazing. You have been in the plant show arena for a few years now.
Hmm.
You've kind of helped set up Southeast Plant Show.
Yeah, so I think Georgia has I mean, I might be biased because I know that we have a lot going on, but I haven't seen any other states besides Florida that has so many kind of local events happening all the time. So the founder of the Southeast Plant Show, Erica, she kind of focuses on one area of the state. So she had the idea to host a larger show, and then it just kind of made sense with me being, I don't know, everybody just knows me in the in the plant scene, so it just made sense to be a part of the Southeast Plant Show too. And it's also amazing to see how it started from where it started and then to where it is now.
Yeah, this is the third year.
Mm, yes,
Fourth,
third
third, yeah. And it is going to be at the fairgrounds
year. Hmm.
in what
Lawrence,
county?
it's Lawrenceville,
Loresville, yeah.
Georgia.
And so on the calls, I've heard that this has like tripled in size since the first one. So that's super exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's taken a lot of hard work to get all of the vendors, and now we're working on getting people to Georgia. So it'll be fun to see kind of this year we have influencers, we have like an actual kind of program to work with influencers ahead of time. So it's going to be fun to see how all those three things come together for the 2 days that have
Yeah,
taken up so many months of my life.
Yeah. Well, and it's going to be right around the corner. Like I was looking at um,
Yeah,
travel and stuff, and I'm like, it's literally like 8 weeks away, 9 weeks away. Like this is
I know.
insane.
And saying it in like terms of like 8 weeks, that's so crazy.
Um,
But
I
there's
am so
nothing like
excited.
it though. Yeah, there's nothing
Yeah,
like walking into a huge space full of plants, full of people excited about plants and finding the plants that they've never seen in person before. And then this year, I think we'll have a lot more people traveling to the show. So that's something I like about the Florida shows is that you see people who like aren't a part of your dated, well, like
plant community. Yeah, your local plant community. Yeah, totally. I had just experienced my first plant show not too long ago at PlantCon in Orlando, and I have to say, like, that is the one thing that I keep coming back to that was like the most precious and exciting thing of it all was just to meet the people that
Mhm.
I'm DMing every day about, oh, did you see this plant or did you see this? And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, to be there physically and wow, we really are friends. Like
Yeah, you're like, I
it's
know you, but
yeah, it's as easy to talk to you live as it is online, which is so
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I was listening to one of your podcasts that you said you hadn't been to IAS yet, so IAS is going to be crazy for you because that really brings people from all over.
All over, right? Yeah. Yeah, we have so many amazing shows here. The Rare Plant Show and IAS. What has been your experience, your favorite takeaway with working with the plant shows?
I mean, I think it's just how different all of them are.
Yeah.
Every show is, even though you like, I guess the surprising thing is you'd think like, oh, it's just plants, like it's going to be the same thing. They're going to have the same types of plants, but it's always every city, every show, every organizer just brings a different combination of people. So it's really just exciting that you don't know who you're going to see, like what plant you're going to find. Yeah, and just the fact that you can try to say like I'm just going for the show, I'm not going to buy anything, but you always end up leaving with way too many plans.
Yeah. Yeah. One good thing of advice that I got from one of the influencers was to definitely like have your kind of list of like what plants that you
Mm,
want to get that you haven't seen in your market or you don't feel comfortable buying online and
mhm,
shipping. And I think that really helped me because instead of just kind of going in blindly, I was like, okay, I was more geared to like, okay, I wanted that flame, so I got that flame and
ooh,
the Nona, like the pink variegated banana. I wanted that so bad, but
yeah, yeah, and you living in Florida, you have a chance to keep it going.
exactly, and keep it alive.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that because I have all of my plants in this plant room, and the minute that they don't start doing well, I just like throw them in my backyard, and they're like glorious in the backyard. I was walking through there yesterday because I thought that I would lost a lot to this
Hmm.
last freeze because I did not cover anything this last
Hmm.
year.
Hmm.
I was so busy being the gardener at a garden where I had to do hundreds and thousands of plants to cover. I was like, when I got home, I was like, forget about it. But it's amazing. I'm seeing like anthuriums popping up that I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought you were gone, brother.
So exciting.
But it's so cool. It's
Yeah.
just a fun plants just bring so much joy. I think that's what draws so many people to plant shows and what makes it so exciting. And like you said, it's not you go to one plant show and you've been to them all. Like the other exciting thing is that the market's always changing. New
Mm.
cultivars are always being found, and different ways to do TC brings a lot of different plants to the market.
Plants have been a part of my life for a very long time. I was lived actually before Atlanta. I was living in Costa Rica, and I was just I guess I took it for granted, not took advantage. Should have taken advantage. But I took for granted the fact that there was like so much beautiful nature everywhere around me that it was just like a normal part of my life. So when I moved from Costa Rica to Atlanta, I was like, where are the plants? So
Yeah.
I found a Facebook group online and I saw people selling plants on Facebook, and you just like say, "Oh, I want this," or "I'll take it." And then I remember like my first plant buy, which was like meeting somebody in the Target parking lot for a little, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was a gloriosum cutting. And it was just like such a crazy concept. I kind of got hooked to the concept of like buying plants. And this was, I mean, this was like maybe like 2019, so it was still before COVID. And I think I'm just one of those people that like, I always kind of jump in an opportunity to help community grow, to like get involved in something. So I ended up becoming an admin of a Facebook group. And so just like to see the growth and the change of everything from before COVID to during COVID to, I remember there was even a plant swap that we did that was in a parking lot. So it was like a social distance swap
Really? During COVID?
during COVID. And I didn't go to that one, but yeah, they like numbered the parking spaces, and then I don't like, and I guess you like put a plant down, walked away, and then
That is
someone
so,
else would take it and grab another one. And then once it started feeling like a little bit better to meet in person, we started doing outside swaps and like meeting together as groups and meeting all the people in our community. And there are so many of us that have been around for so long, and some people were like, those plant sales, like there's too much, it's like too much, I don't like it, and they kind of were turned off by how many events there were. But I was like, no, it's a thing, like people will keep coming, and it's just amazing to see new people get into plants, and just the excitement that maybe you don't have anymore, but seeing somebody else get excited like brings it back.
yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I love the story about the social distancing plant swap.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, it was a good idea.
Yeah. And like you said, the local Atlanta plant community is large, right? I
Hmm.
mean, and there's so many cool like planty shops, and my aunt and uncle live in Atlanta, and I went to visit,
Okay.
and I met Paige at one of them, a plant coffee shop,
Yeah.
Blossom Effect. And I would live here. This is so fun. And not to mention the Atlantic Botanical Gardens is
That's amazing.
stunning. I love the Mother Nature goddess
Oh, yeah, the
that
statue.
blooms. She blooms like in the spring. So cool.
Yeah.
Do you get a chance to go there?
Yeah, I go. I'm a member, so it's a great spot in the city to go for a nice walk and not feel like you're in the city.
Yeah.
Because Atlanta is like it's a big city, but it's also a small city. Because I live maybe 20 minutes away from like where the Botanical Gardens is, like what you'd consider downtown Atlanta, and I just like never go.
Yeah, yeah,
There's like an area that people call like inside the perimeter, outside the perimeter. There's people that like don't leave the perimeter. Oh, like, and then there are of course like acronyms, so it's like ITP, OTP, and like the outside perimeter people don't like to go inside because there's like a reason why they live out there because the traffic is not good.
yeah,
But yeah, so Atlanta has so much. There are like constantly new businesses and new big accounts that'll be like, "Oh, you're local? I had no idea." Just because there are people that kind of like stay in the downtown Atlanta area and don't venture out to where we do our markets. But I prefer, I don't know. For me, I'm like I prefer convenience, so I want people to be able to park and enjoy and like not have to worry about the headache of paying for parking and things like that.
yeah,
So I always do events at breweries, so there's like a fun like outside element, and it's fun times.
yeah. I'm getting ready to do one at a brewery next weekend, Swamp
Mm.
Head Brewery in Gainesville, with a plant company called Plant Stay, and I think that is like my favorite, funnest market. Literally on a
Mm.
swamp, you see alligators swimming in
That's
the water feet away from you, and then hundreds of brews on tap. It's just a great time. People having a beer, plant shopping,
yeah.
catching up, because it's like you said, like a family. Like you get to know these
Mm.
people, and it's like summer camp to see them
Yeah.
year after year.
Yeah, I wish that there was a way to make like a event a, like more than just 2 days, because especially for you guys that are all coming into Atlanta and then taking advantage or taking advantage of how many plant shops there are here. Like it would be super fun to do just like a plant store bus for everybody to go around and see the botanical gardens while you guys are all here. But there's just like so much to do in just a few days.
Yeah,
I just wish we could just like all do like just I don't even know how you could balance it in one weekend.
Yeah, I know. When we went to PlantCon, we went on Thursday, Friday. It's at 4 days. What are we gonna do? Like literally Sunday, there was still so much that we could have done. This is why we had to come these extra days because you got to pack everything in. What are some of your like holy grail plant products that besides your beautiful trellises that you use in your plants, but maybe some of your favorite substrates or just anything that you have really found like this works and I
Mhm.
go back to this product over and over again.
For me, it's more of like a concept of a self-watering. I am like a huge self-watering person because I grow mostly indoors. And I always call myself like the underwater, neglectful plant parent. So the self-watering system just in any way, either like a self-watering pot that's like designed to be self-watering, or when you use like a cup with no drainage and then like a pot with the substrate in there. Something that is like the key to keeping my plants alive. And I mean, it's further proof that some of them have survived months without watering. That
Yeah.
the self watering and it helps keep everything kind of low maintenance and easy.
Excuse me. Do you have your Hoyas in self-watering planters?
Yeah, a lot of them are in. I would say almost everything that I have is in some kind of self watering.
And the
Um,
substrate is pon or leca?
I do everything.
You do use pon.
I do a little bit of everything. I like to try out different things and figure out like what works for me. I have realized that like the husky mix probably holds on to too much water, so that's one I'll use in like for bigger pots, but I do pond, tree fern I like a lot, and just like a regular like soil mix, but with everything I use self-watering. So it just takes some time to like adjust or to figure out like what the balance is,
Yeah.
soil being in self-watering, but it works out for me.
Yeah, it's interesting because same for me. The plants that have thrived the best in my care in my plant room are self-watering plants,
Yeah.
or planters. And there's a variety of geniuses that are in these pots as well. So it's not just like one that does really well for me. I have
Yeah,
a
no, I
begonia
have
in one.
yeah,
Um, uh,
Anthurium, acacia.
yeah, and then my Ethereum. I put her in my guest room and
Mhm.
forgot the
Oh,
guest had went and gone and like for a month no water there and there was
wow,
no water in the bottom. But I just
good
pulled
though.
her out
Yeah,
2 days ago and was like, wow, she has a new leaf. No water. It was dry as a bone in here,
yeah,
but
doing
it's
some
amazing.
yeah, yeah. When I first discovered self-watering, because I was always like a little bit afraid of like putting soil in self-watering and like doing like watering and all of that. There was just like an immediate change because the plants are like, oh, water, finally.
Yeah, and I think it does like create some kind of humidity dome as well. You know, even if there's just that little bit of water in there
Yeah.
that helps the plant stay alive. Um,
Yeah, 'cause I tried, like I've been through all of the trends of plants that have come and gone. Prop boxes, I still love the prop bins. I can't see the one that I have, but that's like, I mean, getting a big clear tote and just putting some perlite at the bottom and throwing a plant in there, that always saves my plants, but I tried the IKEA cabinets, I tried the grow tents. I remember like getting the glass domes and thrifting like the glass to put on top of plants to give them extra humidity and like all that extra work until one day I was like, no, this is too much. You just get what you get. Oh, and like having humidifiers in your room, that was like a big thing that everybody had humidifiers.
yeah.
But I think I mean, everyone's environment is different. So if you're able to maintain a full humidifier going all the time, then like, good for you. Your plants are probably very happy. But I said my plants are not are not going to
Yeah.
have that luxury.
Well, and plants are resilient and um, are adaptive. You know, they will adapt. It's amazing. Like so many anthuriums that I had in the beginning, same thing. And people are like, "Why do you have a humidifier? You live in Florida." And I'm like, "I don't know. I thought that's what I'm supposed to do." But yeah, and I feel like my plants do better now that I don't have all of those extra things.
Mm,
You know, just kind of keep it simple and
yeah.
water this when it's time to fill the self watering back up, and that's it.
Yeah.
fertilize. Yeah.
Everybody's journey is different. Everyone's plants, it might be the same plant, but different care, different water, different home humidity. And so
Yeah.
you can't just always like follow what everybody tells you to do because everyone's different. But I
Yeah.
remember like even the pots, like terracotta pots, I thought that those looked really cute. So when I first started, I like wanted everything in terracotta. And then that was like the biggest mistake as somebody who does not water their plants.
The biggest.
And I was like, oh no, why is everything dying? And it's like, oh, the pot is sucking out the
Soaking
liquid
up all the
in
water. Yeah. You're like, the pot looks like it's still wet,
it. Yeah.
but it's because it sucked out all the water from the plants. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, and then it was like the same thing with trellises that I think I started with aroids, philodendrons mostly and monsteras. But then once I found the Hoyas and just like how cute they were and they started growing, I realized that was kind of like my moment of when I had the idea for the trellises because I'm like I have I have like 15 plants on my shelf right now, and I was looking online for trellis options, and I'm like, I don't need a Bernie Sanders trellis. I don't need like another leaf to go inside of my leaves. I just, and also like some of them were too big for the kinds of like house plants and little plants that were growing, so I was just so frustrated. I'm like, does anybody know anyone that makes trellises? Like, I don't want to DIY like
With
four
wire and
plants,
yeah.
yeah, like 400 trellises, and yeah, so it's just been fun, like the journey of starting a business and having products manufactured because I don't have like I started off making them, but just because it's like grown to where it is, I can't keep up with what I would need to manufacture them myself. So I
Right.
work with somebody here in the United States that makes them for me, but like finding that person who's like a guy who works this big machine and me coming in like this like bubbly plant girl like can you make me these things for my plants that they like grow up and around and he's like what are you talking so it was a journey, but then like I started sending him pink colors and purple and all the fun colors. Yeah, at first he didn't take me seriously, but it's been I keep ordering them, so it's been he's like,
That's
I guess this
awesome.
is a thing.
How long have you had the business?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what did you do before this?
So when I lived in Costa Rica, I went to medical school there. Yeah, so I was a doctor in my past life. Yeah, I was a doctor in my past life. I worked some cool jobs there. Sorry. Well, I worked a couple of cool jobs when I was there. I felt like I can never remember the show. I think it was like Royal Pains, maybe, that there was like a doctor that did house calls and stuff like that. That was like me when I worked at a resort in Costa Rica. So when, like hotel guests would have like eat something wrong and need an IV or like need antibiotics or like fall and need stitches and like all these like crazy things. I would just like go in their room with a little like
With
suitcase
your little doctor bag.
and hotel security and like, treat them in their room. It was really fun. It was a crazy way to kind of like it's a crazy way to start your career like right from medical school. You're like, here you go. You have a whole hotel of 1,000 people. They are yours, but it was really stressful because I was just by myself. And so I like just couldn't there was no even if it was like slow season, I was just always on call and always like never sure of what was going to happen, what was going to like what, cuz it's I was just constantly dealing with emergencies.
Yeah.
And then I ended up moving back to the US, and to work as a doctor, you have to go through all these hoops of taking tests. You need like clinical experience. And it was, of course, like October 2019 when I moved here. 6 months later was the pandemic. And I was like trying to rebuild my life, trying to, yeah, like I felt like a reverse immigrant because I was like, I moved back with only a couple of suitcases. I like didn't have, my whole life had been in Costa Rica for 10 years. So it was just like a really interesting thing to restart your whole life in the middle of when like the whole world is shutting down.
Yeah.
I found kind of plants to keep me entertained, give me like things to do, and well, just like the online connections that you form, just like posting things online. And then I still stayed like working in medicine somehow. I was fluent in Spanish, so I worked as a medical interpreter. Went full time into the plant business once I got the trellises and online sales going.
It's so interesting. I always find it fascinating when people have like these very stressful, demanding jobs, and then it's like you welcome plants with open arms, and it's such a like breath of fresh air to deal with plants. Because I come from a 26-year career of hairdressing, and then I just became a gardener in November, and it's just like I couldn't imagine my life any other way. Why have I not been a gardener my whole life? This is so stress free.
And I can see like the connection because it's almost similar to healthcare too. Because in healthcare, people get in there because they are caring personalities. They want to take care of something. But I think COVID ruined that for so many people. Just like how stressful, how
Dangerous
horrible,
too.
dangerous the conditions are that you had to work in as a healthcare worker. And so you just find plants and you're like, oh, I'm taking care of you too, but you're not like dying, or it's not like a human dying.
Right, right, right.
And then I guess like with hairs, like hair styling and being a hairdresser, you're taking care of people with their hair, but plants don't talk back, which I like sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I had met someone earlier for coffee today, and he was just like, I said, oh, I kind of just went into this industry not really having education in plants.
Mhm.
And he was just like, you're so creative, though. Like gardening and working with your hands. He's like, you have all of that. Like,
Yeah.
of course this fell into your lap because you do this. And I'm just like, wow, yeah, you're right. And
Yeah, it's
having you and us having this conversation is just like another reminder of just like, yeah, it is true. Like, there's something to be said about caring for something, regardless if it's a person or a plant, like that all. And then all of the plant parallels come to life too, of like, taking care of the plant and making it healthier again, giving it the antibiotics, fertilizer, everything that it needs to thrive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super interesting. And I just like the more I think about it, it's just like so cool how everybody's plant journey is different because everybody's different, but we all have like the same commonality of plants. You also see it like come in plant sales. That was something I thought was really cool that a lot of people probably identify with having anxiety, but like when you're around plant people, you like start talking about a plant or like watering or like your pothos that has died 7 times and you just like forget about anxiety and you just like find kind of like the piece of just like sharing something and hearing that somebody else is sharing the same experience.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. That's always something too that like fascinates me when a group of plant people get together, regardless of age, gender, even sexual orientation, like everyone just like, gets together and has this common love for plants. I think that in any other industry there's nothing like it, and people are so passionate about it and want to share their tips and tricks and plants. I've had so many plant friends that I was gonna say never have met, but I met a lot of them at PlantCon
Yeah.
that would send you plants. And I mean, I came aboard the plant community at a very stressful time in my life, in the middle of the pandemic. My husband is actively dying of cancer, and the love and generosity, of the plant community really was my beacon of light. It really got me through the hardest days.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, and then now it's just joy, and then it still like has that connection from when it was a bad part of your bad time in your life, but it's like such a big part. And I think the same can be said for me too, that it's just, you kind of forget about all the bad reasons why you got into plants in the first place, and you just enjoy what you've been able to grow through from.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting, the ups and downs of like your plant journey too, of being that collector in the beginning and collecting all these plants and having to have them, and then slowly learning that you can't keep all these plants and they're going to die and some are going to die, and you have to realize the grace of just letting go.
Yeah, some are just meant to be with you.
Yeah, and then getting to the place where you're kind of a mentor to other new plant parents. That's always fun to share, your experiences and what you've learned and your knowledge.
I think everybody that's in the plant community now is looking more for like personal connections, because before I think everybody was about getting all the plants, being the first person to get the plant. And I guess I don't know if you were part of the Facebook groups when people would like bid online when the purges were insane. Like, yeah, they're like you'd have to. Facebook groups have changed a lot, especially like the beginning of COVID when people started auctioning. I remember just watching, like, you would, like, they would say starting at 8 o'clock, and you would, like, mark down 8 o'clock. You were there on your computer, like, ready to start saying, like, mine, 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 or buy. And, like, the auctions were insane. I remember seeing a Monstera sell for, like, I think it was like $13,000. And he was actually somebody from the Atlanta plant group. And I was like, go you, like, you get your money, because he had been collecting plants for a while. And then after that sale, I just, like, never heard from him again.
Never heard from him
Like,
again.
I would retire, too, if
Yeah, right?
I sold a plant for a house down payment at that time.
Yeah, I bought a node, which was elbow syngonium. I think I paid $150 for
Oh,
it.
my goodness.
And now they're like giving away because, yeah, like people are just giving them away. Yeah, and oh my gosh. That node also was the death of me. It did so well at first, and then it ended up getting root rot and dying, but
Heartbreaking.
I know.
Yeah, everything's like just so different now. And I just remember like back then selling plants, and you'd be like, how long am I going to be able to do this? Like, how much longer are people going to want to buy plants? But it just keeps evolving, keeps growing. I mean, when you thought that like the Albo Monsteras were like the hardest plant to get and like the most variegated that a plant could ever be, and then like now they have like this did you see the Skittles philodendron? Oh, you have to look at. Did you see it?
Yes, I saw a picture of it. It is.
Yeah, and it's like, so now plants can have like all of the colors of the rainbow in the leaf.
It's insane.
Yeah, I'm excited. Rare Plant Fairy is going to be I wonder if they'll bring one at the South.
Yes, it's so awesome. I'm very excited. Yeah, I bought a few rare plants from her as well that are no longer with us either.
Oh, no.
But
it's hard.
Well, maybe somewhere in the garden. I'm not sure.
They're in the desert.
Yeah, that would be very exciting to have her at the show. Yeah. Besides the Hoya, what would be your other favorite plants that you don't even own, but that you've seen like at a market or something? What is that one plant that you're like, wow, I can't believe that I even got to see this?
I really like Monsteras, because like the sports, like hunting sports and finding the different variegation, and like now they're it's not so much the color, it's the shape of the leaf. That's like another thing. I thought that plants could only be like a certain kind of variegated, but like it's just, I guess, the more since Monsteras are so mass produced, there are like so many opportunities for like the different genetic
mutations. Yeah,
mutations. So that was, I mean, I loved seeing all of the different types that
yeah.
I love I actually got one of the plants that I had seen the year before at IAS that I fell in love with, the Monstera. It's a compacta. So it's like a mutation that the leaves are very small, but they're thick like the burl marks.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I was like, I saw it the first day that I got there, and then I saw it the year before. I saw it in 2023 and like never stopped thinking about it. I was like, oh, I should have got it. I was going to split it with a friend. And then it was like one of the first plants that I saw when I got there, this like 2024. And I was just thinking about it. And I told like a friend, and he was like, oh, I know him. I'll get you a good deal. So I took advantage.
So you got it?
That was like, I was walking around so happy, and I'm like one of those people that like the weird things, not the ones that
Yeah.
like everybody likes. So I was walking around IAS with like my Monstera, and people are like, what are you doing? What is that? I'm like, touch it, it's different. And then they're like, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
like you really don't see how different it is until you like look close.
I'm obsessed with monsteras.
Mm.
I continue to cut and repropagate them in my backyard, so it's like a forest of
Oh yeah,
monstera.
best part
Yeah.
about being in Florida and like how big they get.
Yeah, how big they get on a tree, growing up the tree. Going to South Florida, it's like my husband's like, I will drive because I'm like, stop, stop. I'm like, we need to stop. Look at this one. It's insane.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's like so cool. I remember seeing like a house that had just like they didn't have a lawn, it was just Monstera adansonii. Like which was different because usually you see the big leaves, but it was like a bunch of
Right, right.
like I don't know how they did it, just growing all on the ground.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I have a little area of like pothos that are just
Mhm.
like it's like ground cover, and I'm like, this would be really cool. Landscape this as a ground cover plant,
Yeah.
but you really can only do it here.
Yeah, I love those posts when people are like they post a pothos, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is a variegated Monstera," and you're like, "First time in Florida,
Yeah, right.
must be."
They're like, this is a monster. It's high. No, yeah,
No,
that's
just a pothos.
hilarious. That's so funny. What is next for Propagated Diaries?
I'm trying to focus on like the business. So I've been doing a lot more like business development, looking at that aspect just cuz like with my inability to go to shows, that was like my last year I went to so many shows and I just love travel vending. I love going to different states and I love that like I can put all of my stuff in a bin and check it on a flight and just go. Um so I'm trying to focus on my just growing business, doing like business things because this is like a snowball of like having an idea, starting a business, registering an LLC, getting a website, and then you're like have to pay taxes and like all the yeah, it's like not the not fun part, but it's good to learn about it and something that I find very like interesting is I'm in spaces with people that are like starting. It's not that a plant business isn't an actual business, but it's not like a traditional business. It's not like insurance. It's not I don't know, like people that are starting bakeries or starting a clothing store. And so I explain to them I'm always like everybody like remembers me. They're oh yeah, the plant girl cuz like being in spaces of not plant people is funny. And then
Yeah.
people are like oh, okay. Well, good luck with that. Like, has that been going well for you? And I'm like, well, it's been 3 years, so it's not too. But like, no, for them, it's such a foreign idea to that like people are spending money on plants. So that's like,
Let alone trellises.
yeah, exactly. So I'm like, yeah, it's a niche kind of thing.
Yeah. You're like, it is a livable business. Like,
Yeah,
that's so funny.
it's a thing. People actually buy it.
Yeah. What advice would you give to an up and coming entrepreneur in the plant space? What three things would you say? Like these are the things that as a newbie, what would you focus on?
I would say focus on yourself as almost like the big all encompassing advice because it's so easy to get caught up with, oh, this person is doing this, so I should do this, or like just copying is really easy to do. And the people that are confident in themselves and their ideas and doing things differently, I feel like are the ones that are going to be able to be successful and do things for a long time. I'm not going to like give myself credit of being the inventor of clear trellises. I know it's something that existed before, but like I know it's not the most novel concept, but I was like the first person that like only had a profile talking about trellises. Everyone was using like black clips and I was like, no, clear everything. So I feel like even if people don't know me, like the clear concept kind of it started everybody does it now. So it could be discouraging if it's like something my whole business is like clear support, so it's really discouraging to see they're like the cheaper versions of like that
Knockoffs.
you just order from China. They're different, they're much less expensive, but I mean like I can't compete. I'm not you have to like you have to trust yourself and your own brand. Because it's easy to just get discouraged and be like, oh, somebody's copying me, I can't do it anymore. You just have to like keep your focus, and if you have an idea, like go for it, figure out how to make it happen, because I had no idea how to do any of this stuff that I've figured out. And if you like, I mean, if you just believe in yourself, that's the key, because it's easy like to just copy.
Yeah, I love that advice, especially in the midst of feeling discouraged. Timo has exactly what I just created,
Yeah.
and this sucks. That's the other thing, too, I think, about the social media aspect and the market aspect and the personal aspect is people want to do business with people.
Yeah.
That is awesome advice because, like you said, you stay true to yourself. People are drawn to authenticity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So it's just like with everything, just like be you, be supportive. Don't, I don't know. It's easy to catch, like to get caught up in drama. I like to always just say like just plants. Like I keep my life very personal. I don't talk to too many people about too many details, even though I have a big platform where I share a very small like corner of my life. I'm here for the plants and for the community, and I just hate when things get kind of like sticky with people trying to just like get to, I don't know. It's easy like egos, and it's like any business, which is, plants started just as plants, but now the people are starting to start careers and like earn money from different things. It's easy to get caught up in drama, and I just like stay away from that, and you just have to just do you, and like the people that
Yeah.
want to pull you down will try, but if you don't let that happen, you can keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought there was drama in the fashion world. But boy, these plant people sometimes, I'm like, Lord. Where can people find you on social media?
So I am everywhere on Propagation Diaries. I have TikTok, Facebook, Instagram,
Awesome.
website.
And when everyone can tune into your Instagram to find the information about
Yeah.
you sell on Palm Street.
The discount code that I wanted to share,
Oh, yes, yes.
yeah, with the listeners. So I was like waiting for, some kind of like phrase to come to me while we were doing it. So I'm going to do BEYOU as
Perfect.
the discount code. So you'll get 15% off on my website if you use that discount code.
Awesome. So, discount code BU
Mm-hmm.
for Propagation Diaries. Make sure to go to propagationdiaries.com and you will enter that code and you will receive 15% off. That's an awesome deal. Thank you so much for offering that to the listeners.
Yeah, thanks for having me today. This is great.
Yeah, I'm so excited to get to know you more in the next
Yes.
couple weeks as we do our Zoom calls before Southeast
Yeah.
Plant Show.
Yes. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
excited for you guys to come and experience the show and have a great time.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have an awesome day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.